Pandora. Welcome back to another live Witches Chat. I know it's been a while. It's been a while. Um, if you're new here, hi, hello. I'm firelotusthewitch. I've been doing this online for about, we'll say 4 or 5 years. Here on YouTube, just 1 year. So that being this year. But hi, hello, welcome back. Also, we've already hit 630. Holy shit, subscribers. We're doing amazing. I have a goal this year to actually break 1,000. So we're getting there. We're getting there. So for one, if you've been following me for a while, good morning. If you've been following me for a while, either on here from Facebook and TikTok, you know that I discovered this weird ass fucking location. It's a church, but the way that it was built, it's very fucking weird. I'm gonna be doing a more in-depth video on that on TikTok later on today. But if you want to go ahead and deep dive on it, it is Lilabilia. I know I said that weird. But it is in Africa. It is in Africa, specifically Ethiopia. I'll do that in a second. It was made through the 12th and 13th century. It took 20 years. Good morning. It took 20 years to make. Just 20. It goes 150 feet into a solid block of bedrock. There are 11 of them. They're basically these giant churches. Good morning. They're these giant churches that were made within a 20-year period that were carved into pure bedrock 150 feet down, or up to 150 feet down. And it's fucking incredible. There's even a couple of Knight Templar symbols carved into it. Like I said, I'm going to do more in-depth video on my TikTok. If y'all like, I can post it over here too. I'm slowly getting to the point where I'll be able to do a YouTube video and actually have like pictures up here and all this other shit. But yeah, I fell down a fucking rabbit hole yesterday because I finally found the show that I learned from it, and then I started doing my own research to it. Hello, hello. That's cool. It reminds me of the sinkhole found in China. Yes, I've been keeping my eyes on that because I love archaeological, whatever the fuck, discoveries. But yeah, and it's called Lalibela, Lalibela. Um, and it's in a part of Africa. And I have it written down, but I cannot pronounce it right now. So, with that, we're going to go over a couple of other things. I have a couple of things to go over in the Blood and Bones book. There's an interesting conversation that's also being started that's happening on TikTok with crystals. And I watched one video and they blew my mind, right? So there's this conversation if crystals actually do have like an opposite effect or can be used in magic for like baneful magic. For one, what I have to say to that, if we believe that crystals are like these actual energetic, even interdimensional things that have their own personalities and everything like that, or if we look at it at like frequencies, or if you want to look at it how the world is, there's an equal and opposite in the universe as well, like dark matter versus matter. Even if it's the opposite of that. But somebody fucked my mind because they're like, well, I wear black obsidian because in a raw form, what is it? It's glass. What did most ancient people use that for? To defend yourself. So I would suggest if you are going to use crystals, if you can, my personal favorite, which are rough cuts, use rough cut ones. I'm also one of the practitioners that believe you do get to a point to where you can create your own correspondence depending on the object or item that you're using. It may not 100% work all the time, but yeah, that blocked my mind. I'm also doing an experiment before I show this. Yes, I did research. Okay. I have my Hercuber diamond in here. I will not be keeping it in here like all day. I'm only going to be keeping it in here during this live. So yeah, and it's got a smaller piece right there, so I don't have to worry about me choking it. I use rough cut obsidian for home protection. See, I love that, and like some of the responses of it, I love. I started a video, and the biggest issue that I'm going through right now is because I got good medicine now. where I am, I like to question things, even if we already have answers to them. I still like to ask the questions and bring it to like the platform. And the other day, I asked two of them, "Hello." The first one, where did we get like the aesthetic to witches? Like what it is now. I know heavily pop culture. Um, but I also started another one because I had a thought yesterday, which is who leaves these breadcrumbs for us to remember the past in like a past life aspect, right? So specifically with music, most people, and I know with neurodivergent people, or it's a specific genetic thing possibly, but when you listen to a song, if it matches with your heart rate perfectly, like, or shall I say, if your heart rate matches with the music when you start listening to it, that's what gives your body those head to cold chills. I believe that because we know that certain things can be passed down through genetics and through like blood on a very like quantum level, but there's some scientific base behind that. So my question is, whoever created this, because we know that there are things that repeat in nature all over the place. Sacred geometry, it repeats over and over again, even in us. I want to know who left the breadcrumbs because we have these types of breadcrumbs when you go to a place for the very first time, when you hear their music, maybe when you hear a story, maybe if you actually like visit like Stonehenge or something like that, you have flashbacks. Like it triggers something in us to remember something important about possibly a past life, depending on how you believe in past life. Some people believe that past lives can be in the future, they could be in the past, it could be on like an alternate reality, all of that. And if you look at human history, besides what we have that actually like we can record it back, there's still a huge chunk of human history that we don't know of. Some of the most ancient structures in the world, some of them, not all of them, were actually there before like the people that live there that we know of were there. And if you don't believe me, check it out. I believe it's the Aztecs. I think it's the Aztec symbol. They even state that like they found it, abandoned, but they found it. I prefer raw stone. Also, love it when I find only polished one in the rivers. That's been years. Oh, that is so cool. I've never actually found a crystal out in the wild before. The only experience I had with that was I was at my partner's old job, and I randomly bent down because I saw like this perfect round white stone. Come to find out, it was actually a fossil of it's not a sand dollar, basically a seashell, a type of seashell. Um, but that was interesting, and the reason a lot of people with the crystal aspect, the crystal question, the reason a lot of people are asking that is because of this book right here, which is Of Blood and Bone by Kate Fuller, of Blood and Bone, Workings with Shadow Magic and the Dark Moon. It's a really good book, I will admit that. There are some things in here that the author kind of made less serious than it can be. I've talked about it before, becoming the god or goddess. It's a really cool experiment, but if you do it properly and you're not ready for it and you fully take in the goddess or god, you could have a physical reaction to it. Um, but there's something that I want to, and anything to do with rabbits, they go over it. They go over like what you can use animal parts for. Um, let's see. Hold on, let me find the area. But they also have an entire section of basically minerals, but like the darker aspect of them. Now, there are some spells in here that I would say I wouldn't necessarily do, like, if I was in my first year, because whether you believe in karma, whether you believe in the ripple effect, um, things can affect you differently, and there are kind of blowbacks from a lot of spells. Even if they're healing spells, there's some type of blowback from it. Why is it when I find what I'm looking for, it goes away? But there is a chapter in here where you can use dirts and stuff like that. And there are a couple of dirts in here that I've never actually heard of. Like somebody messaged me the other day, Appalachia folklore. Never heard of cellar water. It would be very hard to get cellar water down here in Florida because depending on what part of Florida you're in, you actually have like a construction zoning to where you can't really dig down aquifer. But it was an interesting thing. Also, here we go. Oh, there we go, there we go, there we go, there we go, there we go. They're all in the same thing. All right. Um, so we're about to go over different types of dirts and what they have in here as crystals that you could use as a negative side effect. And then we're also going to talk about retribution spells because, for one, you can save you so much time by doing a retribution spell versus a fucking curse or hex, depending on what they did, right? Alright, so Roro Dirt also had never thought of until recently to use Roro Dirt. Especially, like, if you live in a place where they have one that, like, here in the United States, if you know for a fact, which you can most of the time look this up, look at where the railroad goes, because it's a great way to send a message, to send someone packing, to bring something to you, to send something away, multiple other ways that you can imply that into your practice. All right, so the first off, we have bank property. The land upon which a bank or credit union is built can be added to prosperity and wealth spells. Now remember, with these also can have the opposite effect as well. There's a really, really good one, but like I don't know if I fully want to share it or not because you could really fuck somebody up with it. But I've never heard anybody talk about it. So I may and may not, I may do an entire video on them. Here soon, I plan on just shooting one video and just kind of go over all the dirts, all the waters. Obviously, doing this, I came up with a cool way if you're kind of like nervous or if you have anxiety. If you have a younger family member who is still in school, basically take them with you. That way, if anybody stops and asks you, why the fuck are you getting a jar of dirt? Tell them it's some type of science experiment where their teachers wanted you to go around different areas in your like city to check the pH level or I don't know, to check something. But use your child. Use them as an excuse. That way you don't look like the crazy lady. So, not to mention, if somebody wants to be a Karen, they may be less likely to become a Karen if you're doing it for like a kid or a science project. Court properties. A bit of dirt from the lawn of a courthouse can be added to spells for justice and legal issues. With that, if you are a witch who adds services and like sells spells and stuff, look at your local laws because there are multiple states to where it is illegal to interfere with legal matters with magic, and no, I'm not making that up. So check your local laws. I think I'm going to share with you a video where a commenter is tricking people who asked how to do love spells and cursing themselves. OMG, yes, please, send that to me, please. I know there's one creator who recently got under a lot of fire, which I had already had them blocked, on TikTok, where they will purposely tell somebody the wrong information. One of the videos that kind of blew up, somebody said that they were like trying to help them get rid of a negative spirit. And instead of this creator telling somebody how to properly get rid of one, they gave them information to actually summon more. So vet the people you get help with online, please. All right, we're going to go back. All right, we got banquet hall. I'd never thought about this one. A building that hosts many wedding receptions may retain energy useful in love magic. Please do, like, you're going to have to do, like, research not online with this. If you use the banquet stuff where a lot of weddings have actually happened, try to do some sleuthing to see what's the turnout of said wedding. Because if you get that dirt and then come to find out most weddings that happen there actually are not successful, you're going to have to take that into account. Even with the courtroom or the courthouse, like if you were going to do it from a courthouse, try to research the judges to see who has, depending on what you're trying to do, see which judge has the like better results, the outcomes of it, and then try to see which side of the courthouse or courtroom that they specifically use is on, and then gather dirt on that specific side using the intention and the thought that that specific judge is here. So you're wanting to break that down more to be able to kind of hone in on a specific type of energy That way it's not going to go like all hectic. Bank wise as well, research the bank. Even if it's like a big major bank that's like all over the United States or even in Canada, research how well their like banking and transactions are with their customers. Because I do believe that can also go into effect with it. And also with this one, Bell's Bondsman Dirt. Because they state in here, police officer dirt to also keep the jail people away. Bell bondsmans. Nobody's ever thought about that. And I mean, in my family, I know a lot of people that could easily use that spell. Can I suggest that you find someone with a great marriage and take their dirt? Yes, that too. 100% on that one. But if you do that, also make sure you like kind of sever the energetic aspect. That way you don't accidentally. And this is very rare, but there are incidences where you can kind of steal somebody's luck. So make sure of that one. On the the superstition one, extra profile and thing that I have going on, I'm gonna do one today that's kind of like that. Like there are superstitions you're not supposed to, if you're dating somebody, not really marriage, but dating, you're not supposed to buy them a pair of shoes because those shoes will be the pair that they use as they walk out of your life. If you're dating somebody, do not buy them a watch. Do not buy them an hourglass. And this actually happened to me. A guy that I was dating around the 4th of July years ago bought me this like gothic style actual hourglass that the New Age store had that I worked at had. On the way home, it broke. Well, it broke when I got there next to my altar. It had like slitten off something and broke in half. Literally 2.5 days later, we broke up. But the same thing applies. If you buy somebody a watch that you're in a beginning relationship with, it's basically going to be the like ticking time that's just ticking the relationship out. So yeah, there are multiple weird other things like that that are supposedly like, I don't know, somehow affect the relationship. Alright, and then we have hospital grounds. This dirt can be used in healing spells or to cause illness. Intent matters. Here, as hospitals are places of healing, but there are also places of illness. On top of that, this is going to be really, really dark, but you know, hospice. Most hospitals do have a hospice wing, as in when they go there, they're only leaving in one route. You could do that. Also, research that fucking hospital. I like to grab dirt from a mental hospital. Yes, there you go. A mental hospital. Multiple other things. Like, to cause... You could even get one from a nursing home. And cause multiple things with that one. But... with the hospital, like, there's a hospital, close to where I used to live before I moved down here in Alabama. They're really, really bad. Like, there have been multiple lawsuits, like, multiple ones in, like, a 10-year, 15-year span where things have been left inside of them during surgeries. One or two people, one person got the wrong amputee, as in he was the wrong patient in general. And, like, with one of those, you can't fix that. So research the hospital as well, because that may result in your spell. And, not to limitate our magic, but I personally went through something like this too. When it comes to healing a loved one, please note, depending on what you believe, we may be able to help them a little bit, but, and there are some cases where it can. Just, if it doesn't go the way that you worked out, don't blame yourself. Because life and death are a very, very fine balance. And no matter how powerful we can be, there are just certain things that we may not be able to fully fix. And if it ever gets that way to where you know for a fact you can't really fix it, you can still do multiple things to help that body and to help that spirit. I did it with my grandmother. Like, trigger warning if this is a trigger warning. After they took her off the ventilator and she still had hours to go, we made sure, because she was one of those, she was born in that generation to where, like, you don't go anywhere without your lipstick, without your fingernail polish, without a little bit of makeup. She matched with everything, like, color coordinated everything. We did the same thing. We made sure she had her lipstick on, you know. We basically made sure, even though if she wasn't fully attached to her body at that point, we still made sure that her spirit and soul were comforted. So there are multiple things like that that you can do. But just never go into something thinking that you will be able to fix this. You'll be able to stop this depending on the situation. Because it can do more damage to you if you do that. So yeah, I wanted to say that. All right, we got schoolyard dirt. Dirt from a school playground can be added to spells for protection of children, playfulness, and new beginnings. Do your research. That's all I'm saying on that one. University campus. Also, you can do a community college as well. And I would suggest if you're trying to get into a college, do the same thing. Obviously, your mundane route would be to make sure you're making the grades and you have GPA and everything like that. But get some dirt from that community college. Or if you're going for like a huge university, try to get some dirt from that university to kind of sway in on that. And if you're going to do something like that, try to research the dean or the main person who's hiring if you can, and add things into that spell that would be that they like maybe a football team, something like that. Small little things that you can add to a spell are the things that can make it worthwhile. Well, I don't have an actual dirt from the scene, but I do have some glass. Murder scene. A house or building where a murder occurred carry a seriously dark energy. Dirt from the site can be used in your most vicious spells. Be careful on that, just due to the fact we don't know the statistics of like how many serial killers or murderers could be around you. So like make sure you do your research on the person you're going to use that for, and make sure you don't accidentally like awaken something inside of them, and or put yourself in a situation where you may be the person that oh, but the spirit might come with you. Exactly, that would be my only thing. Like with that one, if I were to do that, I would have already had like three, like everything that it would be contained in, like my bind boxes, there'd be two of them this time. And the one on the outside would be big enough to be able to fit the smaller box in, but also be covered with a shit ton of herbs and salt to neutralize that shit. And then that would happen way before I even left the property. And always remember, with certain things like these, what the comment just said, make sure you're not going to carry that spirit with you, because that's the last type of spirit you want to try to possess your ass. Woods. Soil from a selected natural space can be included into peace and serenity. It can also, if you find a spot to where like no matter you put down, it'll fucking grow, you can use that dirt in other spells due to the fact that what? It has the perfect balance of life, of nutrients, of things that it needs to be able to produce life. As you can see, you can get really creative when it comes to this. You can use to dress candles by rolling oil into it and then adding the dirt to it. Adding dirt to satchels, spell bottles, and powders. Put it inside poppets. Sprinkle it onto your own property. Sprinkle bark dirt into your lawn to attract money. Bank dirt to attract money. Place gravel dirt from a loved one by your front door for protection. And with that one, if you're going to do the bank thing, also go around and try to find businesses that have been established that are like very, very successful. Add a little bit of their dirt, all of their dirts to one thing, and then sprinkle it where your business is, whether that's at home or your actual physical location. Your physical location too, not your house. I would not do this with your house unless you have clients to your house. Do a moth to a flame spell. Basically, moths are most bugs to a certain type of light they're drawn to. Do the same thing to where your building, your business gives off that aura to where it just attracts the hell out of them. If you take dirt from a specific judge or from a property of a successful marriage, are you stealing some of their energy that can harm them? Yes and no. So with the lovers, possibly. It depends on like yes and no. Depending on your intention, depending on if you can make sure you sever that connection, which means the only reason you're collecting the dirt is for their success, not really their success, but due to the properties of like successfulness. So it'd be either or. Exactly. I also think it depends on how you collect it. With me, I like to do a lot of energy cutting, as in like when I go somewhere, I'll cut off the like location, as in it's no longer connected to the place that I gathered it from, but it still holds those properties. And like they said, how it's collected. That's a very good question, though. Now, I'm not going to go over all of these because there's a lot. I'm going to go over some with the ones where I was shocked of what the properties can be used for. And basically, it's almost like mirror properties. Like, almost how some people think tarot cards work and how some tarot cards work, where, like, the reverse is basically the opposite of the original meaning. That's how these crystals work. Some of them are good, though. I'm not even going to lie on that one. Black obsidian can be used through the ages as sharp and deadly weapons. Obsidian can be used to freeze someone in their tracks, turning their plans from active to static. I did not know that. Bloodstone, the type of jasper, can be used to symbolically get into someone's blood, to crawl inside their very self and affect them from within. Diamonds are multifaceted in magic as they are jewelry. They can be used for defense due to the ability to cut anything. They can beglue someone, binding them with beauty and sparkle. Embered, while often associated with dispelling envy like other green stones, emerald can also be used to inflict jealousy upon someone so that it eats them up whole. See, these are... I love the way that some of these are. Flint, it's used to make weapons and other tools. A solid, strong stone, it can be used as a blunt force in defensive spells. Hematite, real hematite will develop rust over time, and this can symbolize decay and rot in magic. Real hematite produces red or rusty streaks when rubbed onto a surface, like dried blood, and can be used to symbolically bleed someone. Malachite is believed to dredge up hidden qualities in people, triggering life changes that may or may not be ready to face. In terms of cursing, malachite can be used to give someone a taste of their own medicine and used in reversal spells. AKA, that would be a great spell to also use with a retribution spell, to get somebody to learn a lesson. Petrified wood. Petrified is the case of the word. Then you have pyrite, often called fool's gold. Pyrite can be used in spells to trick someone who is materialistic and easily distracted by earthly pleasures. Rose quartz. Use rose quartz to make someone more submissive and more subdued their effects. Tiger's eye, usually associated with bravery and courage. Tiger's eye is both blue and gold. It is a truth seeker, and technically tiger's eye, the blue and gold, is technically a specific type, and I think it's called hawk's eye, because some of them almost look black, but the sheen in it lights it up like this blue color. They're really great stones to work with. Truth seeking, it is believed to detect lies and warn us when someone is being dishonest. When you feel you being deceived but can't quite prove it, carry a tiger's eye stone. You will be shown the truth even if it's ugly, so be prepared. Volcanic rock. This can be employed to suck the energy out of somebody. And apparently you can also use birthstones against somebody. But yeah, I found that interesting because some of the dirts properties of that you learn about in the Jake Richards Appalachian Folk Magic book, but they also kind of add like that negative aspect too. And I also want to know, the other question that I asked that nobody's answered is, who are the people that put these correspondences with these crystals? Because if they're who I think they are, they were part of that love and light to where you're not supposed to really harm or hurt anybody. But again, that's not even nature. Nature reflects both loving and cruel. We need thunderstorms. We need hurricanes. Scientifically, there are specific reasons we have these things. We would consider them bad luck or dangerous, but nature needs them. Nature needs fire to sometimes burn down old growths. That way new growth can actually start. It's the way you look at things. Now, with that, obviously, you're not going to be able to take something that's never been used like that and then apply it. Like, there is a certain degree to where it's not going to work. But at the same time, we're following things that have been laid down by other people in different areas of life and different, like, a time frame, but yet we're also being told that we can't challenge that, we can't change that. That's what's going to lead witchcraft into becoming stalemate or stigment, basically just nasty, and eventually die off. Once you cut flowing water, once you cut that flowing stream off, it's eventually just gonna get all nasty and shit. It's gonna die. Same thing with magic. Some plants can only propagate with fire. Exactly, exactly. Like, some things take this specific amount of situation. Diamonds. You can also use diamonds to put pressure on somebody, because what does it take to create the diamond? Pressure. Are you the neighbor? Or are you a random stranger? Oh, you're Miss Kempton. Oh, God. Sorry, my next door neighbor, the one over there, is at my other next door neighbor's house. And then eventually I'm also going to pick a card from the animal spirit deck, because it's been very active since it's been doing it. Also, I am hoping I'm going to test the Zoom call today. I've got everything set up. I've just never used Zoom except for one time before. So I've got to see what I can do. You can also use songs to enchant. So put purpose use. Village song pressure. Yes, exactly. And if you don't already, totally create a playlist of music that, after you listen to it, whether it's to empower you or empower the spell, you can also use modern day songs into things. Dead fill dirt to make dirt sterile. Oh, I love that too. I've never actually thought about that. I love that. Slaughterhouse. You could make things slaughter. Sorry, I'm being nosy. She's like known as the neighborhood queen because she's lived out here so long. So like her going around talking to people is very suspect. Curses use the song Nightmare by... Yes, I fucking love that song too. You can sing your own song you make up to enhance things, even dancing can help. Yes, exactly, yes. And that is also known as the Eightfold Path. It's 8 different ways that you're basically changing your perception. You're altering your perception, aka you are either calling up energy, or you could be dismissing energy. Depending on your working, you're raising that energy to be able to put into your spell. Dancing, drumming, songs, singing, instruments. I always forget the other ones. But it's basically 8 different ways to alter your perception. And on a scientific level, if you're more scientific, through those exercises or through those use of those tools, you're also controlling the oxygen that's going to your brain. Breathing exercises, depending on what you're doing, you're changing your perceptive literally by changing the chemicals in your head. Rattles and drums can be wonderful for that. Yes, I have a drum, but like I said, I'm like so nervous about actually making a video on it, because it is a I'm not gonna say tribal, more islander drum. It's one that you'd like strap to the side of your hip. And I know it's not closed, but you know how people can be. Let's hope she's not coming here. Hold that thought, everybody. Gotta go check something. Okay, I believe we're good. I do not believe she stopped. So, and for people wondering, you're like, why are you so... it's the agoraphobia. It's the thought that I'm going to have a conversation with one of my neighbors. It drives me crazy. Because I'm in the 90s, Brad, and I like that sound. Yes, I love that too. And hello, hello. I do that too. The song that fits the situation perfectly and sing it along with while putting the spell together. Yes, see, I love that because also one of the reasons you see witches say do your research because as you're making that spell, as you're getting up all the ingredients, like going from room to room or however it's set up, you're physically exerting energy into it. That's also why we say when you do a spell, try to do as much footwork as possible because you're showing the universe, for one, you're ready for what you're trying to manifest. For two, you fully believe that you will be able to manifest it and it will come to you. But if you do a spell and you doubt yourself or deep down inside you don't think you deserve it, these are interferences that can affect that spell to not even manifest at all. Like right now, I'm doing a side project, and with that side project, I'm having to research stuff. I'm having to post stuff constantly to bring that in. And this is why I did those videos where like there are a lot of people, and that's okay. They're gonna do them. Eventually they'll eventually get to a point to where they're not really progressing. They're just kind of stuck. You go a plateau, which is the people that think you can just manifest stuff. Are there difference than setting your intentions and manifestation? Yes. Is there a difference between spell work and manifestation? Yes and no. With manifestation, you're putting a thought out there and just trying to bring it to you. With spell work, you're doing that like multiplied. And I believe that comes from the internet era where there are so many people that discovered witchcraft online, and thanks to the internet, they want instant results. I largely just sing. I sing directly into things that I'm working on. Oh, I love that. Mine depends on my working and it depends on my mood. There are some spells that I won't, and the reason that is, I've talked about it before, and it's literally called, I'll make a post on it if y'all want me to. If you follow me on TikTok, you already know it. Did y'all know that there is a book, and it's called the Book of Pagan Prayers, to where they are legit just prayers, or incantations that you can use in your practice, and it literally goes over anything: love, life, gardening, seasons, holidays, even like mundane holidays like the 4th of July or Valentine's Day, Christmas, Yule. It's a really, really great book to have. I think it's on my Amazon wish list, which I did, my book, my magical library for y'all. I did update that, by the way. But yeah, if you can find it, and if you can't find it, I'm pretty sure V Library may have a downloadable version of it, or Z Library, and start using that. But yeah, songs and stuff like that, that's what you're doing. You're pushing that energy into it. And I know I said that to a couple of people, and they're like, wait, what? No, you can't. And I'm like, why not? Like, say you're doing a spell to get out of the situation you're in. Fight song. That's an amazing fucking song to do. Katy Perry, Rise. That's an amazing song to do. And it's also, it's us basically working and bringing magic more modern. And all magical paths need to do that. They need to have a transitional period to where things are being added to it. Now, of course, thanks to TikTok, we have so many authoritating figures. Of course, of course. And I'll answer that right after this. But we have a lot of authoritating figures, and yeah, they may have the like years behind them, but they're not authoritating in anything. Now there is an interesting conversation going on between the Scots and I think Irish, with like people over here, and I think it's called saging. It's a specific purpose. I don't know if it's a spell or a ritual that they have over there, and it's like consecrating, protection, and cleansing, and they just closed that. So I'm trying to seeing where that goes, and the reason I'm interested in this is because in a modern day perception, as in on social media, this would be one of the first times I've ever actually seen a thing that a specific region or culture does, and they're actually closing it off, like in modern times, live. So this is very interesting to actually see this, and I want to see how people react to it. Because from my loosely understanding of this, the thing that I'm talking about, it's basically, some people were comparing it to like using white sage, because a lot of people a lot of spiritual people, and thanks to the fucking internet, people think that white sage is for cleansing areas, and it is, but it's not. The purpose of saging, they're not cleansing it. You can use sage, and not just white sage, you can use this with some other sages too. You're making the air, depending on what you're trying to do, you're making it set up. So if you're trying to bring spirits in, you're bringing spirits in, versus what most people do. Like the Long Island Medium, they're one of the first people that I know that got under fire for it way before TikTok was a thing, because when they do their readings at home, they use a white sage bundle and also an eagle feather fan, which is a huge no-no. Because specifically eagles are with most, not all, but most natives. So she got under fire for that, but people got it in their heads that you use sage for cleansing and shit like that. Like I know somebody who lives in the UK, he will not use culinary sage, or any sage, because he believes that it will clear out not just the spirits he wants to clear out, but it will clear out the fae, it will clear out, like his ancestors. So we've had very interesting conversations, and I love the fact that's how magic can be. It is so complex depending on the actual practitioner. Um, and just do research off TikTok. Do not do research off on TikTok. You can do research on TikTok for like ideas or starting points or resources, but just don't watch one video. Watch like 100 of them. And then if you can, go directly to the source. And what I mean by that is I'm not saying go directly to someone on TikTok, because a lot of communities that you see on TikTok, if you actually go to them in real life, you're going to get different answers. I just realized I was like 2 minutes behind on the live for some reason. See, I thought that too earlier when I started talking to, when I went from crystals to talking about something else. I kept seeing comments about crystals, and I'm like, wait, so this may be lagging. And I don't know why, because I have full service. My hotspot's not on. Oh, yay. But yeah, sorry if this is lagging. But yeah, things like that can completely... But yeah, just ask different people. And honestly, there are just some things that are not meant to be posted online. Speaking of that, so my idea for the class, it's going to be energy exercises and just a little bit of information on energy work and how to start applying that. I'm also going to show multiple things that you can use in your practice for this. If at any point you pause the live, it will keep you where you paused it. What type of work are you doing for the solstice? Oh, okay, I see what you're saying. With the live. And I actually don't know. I don't know what I'm gonna do for the solstice, because it's what, tomorrow? Yes, it's tomorrow. Um, Actually, I do. I have 3 different spells. So I have this person in my life who is not religious. I would say they're not religious. Um, Due to the past 3 weeks, they haven't fully asked, but they've asked through another person if I can keep up what I'm doing. So I plan on doing a couple of major spells for my personal life and then also their life. So this is going to be interesting. I didn't know that either, but it's feeding day for the snakes, so I want to make that a part of it. Oh, that is so cool! Um, but yeah, and then I've also got to do some redoings on my altar because I'm still having an issue that I haven't been able to figure out how it's happening yet. But yeah, with the live, I'm going to do that, and then I'm going to show multiple items. For one, that's in my personal practice that I'm not sharing on TikTok. And then also different tools that you can use. I'm hoping to do a little bit more in there because I've got some notes. They're just not enough to go over for an hour, and I want it to be about an hour. So the way that I'm planning on doing it is the people that want to be interested, like basically will pay the day of. That way I can keep track of it. That way if anything goes wrong and if it doesn't go out the way that I need it to, I will be able to like just refund them. Oh yes, definitely time for a Q&A. And then I'm going to mail out, hopefully I'm going to create this one big ass email. And then I'm going to mail out the actual link to it. Hopefully I'm going to be able to get somebody to record it while I'm doing it. And then somehow I'm going to figure out a way to get it on YouTube. And then it will be link only. I think people have come to rely too much on the internet for information. Whatever happened to finding someone and learning from them? Exactly. And I will state, yes, more people need to do that, but I would be more worried if people did that. I've had multiple conversations or multiple incidences, we'll say within the past 2 years, of when is the last I can pay to be able to attend the class? The latest. The day of, which is this coming Wednesday. Um, but see, the only reason I say I'm cautious about that is because there are two big creators after deep diving into a lot of things. They're not what they say that they are. And the way that I view it is if you are in your first to second year in witchcraft, you should not be teaching. Unless you are making like teachable videos as you're learning it too. But a lot of people, or I've seen multiple creators, they're really big, as in their following, but their information, even their spells, are informations that you would be able to find on Pinterest and or Google using the first, like just typing it out, it will come up and it's almost word for word. That's where I disagree with. And there's this huge debate right now of like why people don't like practitioners charging for things, whether that's a Patreon or things like that. Somebody made a comment, well, we all get our information from books and just kind of recycle that. Yes and no. For one, it's our time and effort. The only thing I charge for are services and readings. And then I try to keep everything very low and affordable. And the reason that I'm charging for the class is because it's $10. So say I get 10 people. That's what, $100? 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100. That's $100. With that $100, I would be able to go to Metro PC right now because they're holding a sale and be able to get for $50 a month unlimited internet here at the house for $50 a month. So see what that's the only reason I'm charging for that. And then if I write a book, I'm going to be charging for that book. It's still going to be extremely affordable. And you'll eventually still be able to get a free copy of it, but it's for that time and effort. Much as I hate to say it, money makes the world go round. And if I was not making money like I'm doing now, as in normally how mine is like if I really need it, I manifest those customers. If not, I wouldn't be able to do this. I would eventually have to go work for my partner or at the same company he's working at, which I also can't do because I'm disabled. So see, it to a lot of people, it's a way of survival. I totally agree. A lot of people, certainly seedlings, are learning to follow their sense of inner voice instead of following step by step from someone else. Exactly, exactly, exactly. Never learn from a mentor. I have issues trusting one person telling me what's up. And same. I had one mentor. One day I hope to find her. That mentor, literally, I only had her for like a 6-month time. And then everything else, even though I dated multiple people who are also in witchcraft, a lot of them, not all, a lot of them were specifically leading me down a trail that would get me nowhere because they were intimidated by me. One of those were the same people that basically told me, well, I can't practice I can practice witchcraft, but I'll never be a good witch because I have no family members that practice witchcraft. This was the same person who got most of their information out of the Vampire Diaries, the Secret Circles. Now, with that being said, am I saying that you cannot take that magic and have a slightly more mundane effect? No, you could totally take spells out of TV shows and stuff. Just know that it's not going to actually act like it is in the show or movie. I had to pause to break up a fight over the TV, so I knew it was going to be behind it. LOL. Never follow blindly when learning. Question everything, because if you follow blindly, you can lose your sense of self. Exactly. And like right now, the Teal Swan issue. I actually, when I first started watching that documentary, I was like, wait, this doesn't seem right. And the reason I stated that is because I was like, they hired the private investigator, and most documentary crews, depending on what the narrative is, it's going to highlight them or completely throw them in the fucking trash. Midway through that series, I realized that the narrative was Hulu. Hulu was going with the narrative because it's more entertainment that they're a cult follower or a cult leader. Now, with that being said, do I think there are so many red flags with that person that it's not even funny? Yes. Yes, it is. I saw Doctor Strange portal design with string green and go new skin for my astral projection. Use pop culture stuff. It's great. Yes, 100%. And actually, a practitioner had to explain this recently. When a lot of people, like, you know, the candles that you'll see with all the, like, with Dolly Parton and stuff like that, when they use those candles as a deity candle, they themselves are not worshiping the person, but they're using the character as how they identify that god or goddess, which is actually great. Like, I fully agree with that. But the thing I hate about this is the worst is this also bleeds into the aesthetic that most people think to TikTok believe that if you see a video and they have one hell of a witchy setup, they know what the fuck they're talking about. And that's not always the case. At all. But yeah, with the Zoom classes, hopefully it's going to be an hour to 2 hours, because I would love to do an actual Q&A that's more personal. And then, again, if that all goes well, the second class will also be on a thing. The only issue that I'm going to have with this is whoever records it being able to send it to me, because it's way too big for an email address or to be sent in an email. I think the only way it would be possible would be like a Google Docs or something like that, because, like I said, what I want to do is be able to download it, and then be able to post it on my YouTube as link only. That way, for the people who like couldn't get up the money or just doesn't have it, they'll still be able to just watch it. As long as the link's not shared out, which I know that'll probably be a problem too, but still. And that's where I'm going with so far. On TikTok, let me know if y'all want me to post it on here, because I can, for the people who don't use TikTok. I started a new series, kind of focusing on mental health and being a witch, specifically with agoraphobia, because I have it and it's affected my own practice. You can put it on YouTube as unlisted. That's what I plan on doing. I'm just going to have to figure out a way for the person who does record it to be able to send it to me. Because I have the tablet and I have the phone and then I have the other one. So it'll be some wrangling. But that's what I plan on doing, is the unlisted version. And then I'll probably do the same with my second one. And depending on how successful these are, is depending on if I continuously do them, because I would love to. Plus, if I can be able to get this and be able to do that regularly and sustain like $50 a month, like outside of everything else I make, with the internet, I'll be able to actually stream more, which means with the internet and the other plan that I have very soon, I'll be able to stream on 2 platforms. So I'll be able to go live on YouTube and then also live on TikTok Live or YouTube or Instagram Live, and then eventually be able to pick up and go streaming on Stitch. And once I do that, that will be when I actually do like workshops where like I create a list of things, and then like another list. If you can't find these, you can use these and actually make a class together. That's my thing. I'm never going to open a Patreon because my typing and English skills suck, and literature skills suck. So, no, I'm not even going to do that. We have the podcast, these, and then eventually the classes. And then I'm working on the secret deck that I'm working on, and then I'm also working on footnotes for the book. So a lot of things are happening. I did delete an app yesterday, a big one, so I should be able to actually start recording videos. Also, check out my Blaze Lotus account that has 2 Z's in it if you want to check out the coolest water that I recently found, because it's amazing. And then I am currently in the process of reading if my bag will open up. There we go. Currently reading this book. If you do not like reading about medicine, tinctures, a little bit of alchemy with like extracting the essences and stuff like that, you may or may not like this. I definitely like it. I follow him on social media, and it's the Poison Path Herbal, Baneful Herbs, Medicines, Medical Nightshades, and Ritual Ethnicons. It's by Corey Michelle. Kobe Michelle, sorry. It's definitely a great book to have though on your thing. So once I get through with that, I will also eventually make a book. But yeah, and there may be a video either today or tomorrow. I'm actually going to attempt to make the candle with the new candle kit that I have. Well, not new, but the one that I got to make tapestries. So yeah, that's my plan so far for this month. And then on the 26th, this Sunday, if everything goes as planned, be looking out for one of the coolest big personalities in a good way episode on my podcast. So, and the one with Seba, I had to reschedule for me. I was a no bones day, so I've got to reschedule that one. But yeah, and if you have not already, and or if you want a background noise, I think it's under the Tinfoil Hat YouTube page. I did an interview with them the other night, last Thursday. It was interesting, very interesting. It was my first live ever podcast, so that was interesting. It went pretty well, and it's about 2 hours long. So yeah. But I think that's going to be it for today. I've got a couple of other things that I have to do. Somehow in the past 2 months, I went from just doing my lives to like doing things like that to I picked on and I'm doing like 8 different projects at once. I'm also slowly getting into designing some merch. By the way, 10 times harder than I originally thought it would be. Like I have artistic skills, but not using an app. So, but yes, big things are in the works. A lot of things are happening. I'll do you on the video after you sign off this. Okay, sweet. You can put YouTube videos. Okay, sweet. Thank you. As always, if you ever need me, I'm happy to help you design merch. Okay, I will message you. Yes, please. Because I've got like 5 or 6 ideas that would be really cool. And as always, if you ever want to, book a reading with me, firelotusthewitch at gmail.com. You can also contact me there for a magical consultation and or any type of spell work. I've also recently lowered my prices as well to everything. I will be doing a community candle and then another community service for everybody. Should have a video out the next 2 days because I want to do it around the new moon. So yeah, that's gonna be it for today. I'm trying to think and make sure I like went over everything. And for the Q&A for the classes, if you will, trying to make this easier, that way everybody will do it. I'll try to make a post on all of my platforms, to make to like post a Q&A. In the comments, and then I'll copy and post all of those comments. That way I'll have them during the live, because I'm going to be using my tablet during the live. I just have to get everything set up to where I don't have to stream it. But yeah, and for anybody who wants to follow me on any other platforms, there will be a link tree attached to this video. Click that. It'll bring up everything. Amazon wishlist, the second Amazon wishlist, which is the Magical Library, the Discord, which is amazing. 18 only. There is a place for 16 and 17, but that's like a very small area. Other than that, it's 18 only. Make sure you go through all the processes so you have access to everything. Instagram's up there. Obviously, you're on my YouTube, and all my TikToks are up there. And then my Facebook page. So, yeah, I think that's it. But, yeah, while you're here, I had a bird follow me, now even in my dreams. Barn swallows and robins. For me, this happened to you when you started with crows. I didn't start dreaming of them, but they did start following me around. Look up the spiritual meaning behind barn swallows and robins, but also look up the, maybe a wrong terminology. Some people say this is bad terminology. The animal totem, the actual the spiritual meaning of the animal, but also the dream interpretation of both animals, and then kind of compare those to kind of what's like going on in your life. It may be a spirit guide trying to reach out to you. It could be a spirit itself trying to reach out to you, or a god or goddess. Um, because the other day with the whole spider thing, I fucking walked into a spider web and there was no spider web there. So Loki has been here this like entire weekend. So that's been chaotic and fun. But yeah, look the spiritual meaning up and the dream interpretation. That's normally what I do, and then you could even go a little bit further than that and look up the superstition meaning or like the folkloric meaning behind it. And then if you think it's a god or a goddess, basically search what god or goddess is associated with these two specific birds. That'll bring up some things. Like I said, always don't necessarily use Google. Use DuckDuckGo or Bing. It'll get you there a little bit more. Um, but yeah, until then, like I said, everything that you'd need or anything like that will be posted in the link tree below. And yeah, until then, I will see y'all later. Thank y'all so much for liking, commenting, sharing. Anybody who had to send me a message, please send me one, and as soon as I can, I'll respond to them. And yeah, thank y'all so much. Also, like I said earlier, we're at 630 subscribers. Holy shit. Holy shit. But yeah, until then, I will talk to y'all later. Peace.